Most High in Christ. All right. All right, bobbity. Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Bashim Yashar Bakathum, Yahweh Shamar, Alathum Bashim Yahushai. I am priest and officer of 5,000. Yedaya. I'm holding it down till 12 Shield. General Mahiman gets here. General Mahiman will be here shortly. If you have any questions, type your questions into the chat. General Mahiman will be here. All right. Let's get into it. As always, man, we are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commander General Yohanna, man. We're only out here to teach Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, man, that we are the Jews of antiquity. And it is important for us to understand, you know what I mean, our identity as the Lord's chosen people. Like the Lord only chose us. The Lord does not give a damn about these heathens. All of the things that is going on right now that is messed up in the earth, man, we got to see, like Captain Katazar said at camp last Saturday so eloquently when I was tuning in. Now, I mean, we are walking on the pages of Matthew, the 24th chapter. So when you see rumors of wars, and when you see, you know, as a matter of fact, let's go to it, like it's just so heavy, man. Like when you see these things, when you see everything that's going on right now, like the Euphrates River is drying up. That's in the book of Revelations. You see, you know what I mean, Russia and China and America, Saudi Arabia, everybody getting ready to get it in. Pack your bags, man. Like we in the fourth quarter right now with 2 minutes to go. Like you cannot continue to waste this time in the world because what? You want to celebrate Christmas? You want to celebrate Halloween? I get it. You want to celebrate your birthday. Goddamn, Mathumya. You got to celebrate that birthday. Forget about all of these holidays of the oppressor. Forget about your birthday. Forget about everything that America taught you. And we got to come back to what our God told us, man, what our God gave us, which is these commandments, man, what our King, you know what I mean, gave his life up for. Because these things that are going on right now, man, our King warned us about. He warned us about everything. And if I could, man, like, give me Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6. Because these things are happening right now. These things are happening right now. We're going to go into some of these things. Give me Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6, Bubba for sure.
Oh, God. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
You shall hear of wars and rumors of war. I don't know if you know this, man, but Iran and Iraq getting ready to go in it. You know, we're getting ready to go at it. India and Pakistan. You can forget about China and Russia and Africa and all these different other nations that's coming together to come out with a new currency. I'm trying to tell you, it's getting ready to go down. For a nation, you shall hear of wars and rumors of war. World War III is coming. And the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we've been prophesying about this since 1969. Right. World War III is around the corner, and you worried about the wrong stuff. Right. Like y'all, they worried about, they trying to figure out what is a woman. They try to figure out what a woman is. They trying to decide, is it okay for a man to be in the woman's bathroom? No. No. We worried about the wrong things, man. We worried about all of the wrong things. As Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, we have to get back into this truth. We have to get back into what's important because it's getting ready to go down, and you don't want to be caught in the crossfire. You don't want to be caught in the crossfire of this nuclear warfare in World War III, trying to live your best free, white, and 21 impersonation. You don't want that. As a Black or Latino or First Nation, you know what you can do? You can come back to our culture, our identity, which is right here in the Bible. Christ said, you shall hear wars and rumors of wars. Keep going.
See that ye be not troubled.
See that ye be not troubled. Don't be troubled about what you see. Let me tell you something, man. I tell this. I buy, you know, as most brothers know, brothers make fun of me on Facebook, you know what I mean, for my sorry squad losing every Sunday for the past couple years. They know who they are, you know what I mean? But I watch CNN like it's the Super Bowl now. I watch the action news like, goddamn, like Commander General Yohanna said, like, oh, we in the fourth quarter. It's going down. Right. You seeing wars and rumors of war, and don't be troubled. Don't be troubled by these things. Don't be afraid, because these things have to happen. They have to happen. It's letting us know that the time is short. That's why the scripture says in Romans 13 and verse 11, man, that now is the time to come out of sleep. Everybody is fast asleep right now, I. Right. You fast asleep, and the problem with being fast asleep, you think you woke. You think you know a little something, but you don't. You have no idea. You playing Russian roulette right now with a fully loaded gun with your life. You playing Russian roulette with a fully loaded gun with your life. Shalom, my Lord of Christ. The water. Keep going, Ibad.
Our God, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
And the end is not yet. No, I'm saying, cut it on. You know what I mean? Leave it over there so y'all can, you know what I'm saying? The water, I appreciate it. Hey, shalom, Father God, Lord of Christ. That's what we got to understand, man. Be ye not troubled, for these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. It's close. We right there. What you waiting on? This is what you don't want to do. We all know brothers and sisters like this, unfortunately. We all know brothers and sisters that know that the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge is the home of the truth. We all know brothers and sisters, you know what I mean, that claim they're going to get down when the time is right. The time is right now. Right. Don't wait no longer. Don't wait, because it's getting ready to jump off. Right. Stop putting it off to tomorrow. Don't put it off to tomorrow. Get right now. Now is the time to stop getting high. Now is the time to stop, you know what I mean, killing your brothers, aborting our babies. Now is the time to stop being that evil, wicked bastard and coming back into this truth. Stop putting it off, because we ain't got that much time left. But the end ain't yet. Keep going.
Oh God. Let's go back to 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation.
For nation shall rise against nation. Guess what? Pakistan and India getting ready to go at it. Russia and China talking. Listen, man, you know, Russia been talking shiesty to America for a minute. You know, they got the real Pooh shiesty, Quatazar Corral. Right. You know what I mean? That nigga from down south is not the real Pooh shiesty. The real Pooh shiesty is up there in Russia right now. Vladimir Putin. That devil shiesty. I'm trying to tell you something. That's what we got to understand. For nation shall rise against nation. Keep going.
And kingdom against kingdom.
Kingdom against kingdom. Government against government. Listen, man, China is ready. Shalom, our Lord of Christ. China ready. They getting ready to take over Taiwan tomorrow. They ready. They ready. That's what we got to understand, man. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Right. They talking real greasy right now, Nathaniel. Right. And you know what we doing? What you doing, Black, Latino, First Nation, man and woman? Lost in the transition. Lost in the matrix. I get it. You keeping up with what? Keeping up, you know what I mean, with Steve Harvey, Lori Harvey, watching P-Valley, watching shit you ain't supposed to be tuning into. You know what I mean? Watching Love and Hip Hop, you know what I mean? Listen, Nathaniel, I know you like that Love and Hip Hop. I know you like all that ratchet stuff, right? But we gotta stop. So why? I'm joking, of course. You know what I mean? I'm joking, of course. But that's Israel in the world, man. You looking at all of the wrong things. All of the wrong things. The important thing to understand is that we have a God, and he is a black man in spirit. We have a king by the name of Yahweh Shah Mashiach, who the world ignorantly knows as Jesus Christ, who's prophesying about these end times that we living in right now. We're walking on the pages of Matthew, the 24th chapter right now. It's going down. Keep going, Ibad.
And kingdom against kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And there shall be famine.
There shall be what?
Famine.
Ooh-wee. There shall be famines. Y'all ain't know there was famines right now? You ain't know there was a food shortage? If y'all been grocery shopping? Listen, I slave in that industry. And there ain't nothing coming in. All the truck drivers tell me all the time, but call y'all, they be talking about they ready to strike. Listen, and I'm all for our brothers getting money. I'll be like, listen, man, I'm all for brothers, you know what I mean, getting their money, getting what they supposed to get. Salaki and GEN.YAHANNA brought it out recently, Quatazar Corral, him in the car, you know what I mean? It's all true. I'm that blizzard. I'm that brother in slavery that do not give a damn. Right. I don't go there to work. I go there to get paid. Right. This is where I work. I work in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commander General Yahanna. This is the job that I dedicated my life to, that saved my life because I deserved death, but I was given redemption to come in here and be the man I was supposed to be. That's why when Christians don't understand about being born again, you're born again by coming up in here. You're born again by not using drugs no more, by not selling drugs anymore. That when you understand that sex is marriage, that when you lay down with a sister, understand you are marrying her, man. Like Commander General Yahanna had a quote, and he said this in front of a bunch of Muslims, FOI, and Christians, cut them to pieces. Like, don't even touch a sister unless you are willing to spend the rest of your life with her. And with that understanding comes discipline and correction. Understand that. And this is the most important job that a Black, Latino, or First Nation man can have. This is the career, you know what I mean, that you can't, listen. And this is why I applaud every young brother that come up in here that wear all black. Because this is what I was taught. When you come up in here as a young man aspiring to be a trooper, wearing that all black, you are filling out an application for Christ's kingdom. And the scary thing is, you might get the job. And knowing that if you get that job, especially if you fall through and become an officer, your life ain't yours no more. Your life is about raising up our people, God's chosen people, people that Christ died for, our Akim, our Wakim, our brothers and sisters, the Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman, the real, true, chosen 12 tribes of Israel, man. Because the so-called Jew is not, he ain't a Jew. The oppressor is not a Jew. The Arab ain't a Jew. We're the real Jews. The real Jews are niggas and spicks and savages. And we are more than those bywords, man. Like Barzal always bring out, we just 12 different flavors. And another brother that's going to remain nameless, man, salt. That's the only thing. That's a t-shirt right there. Salakia. That's a t-shirt right there. Israel, salt. Israel equals salt. That's a Quatazar Karab and the Thunya Allah staple. You know what I mean? Understand that. And what we have to realize, the time is short. Like we see the famine right now. Like the crops, you know what I mean, is drying up. It's food shortages. It ain't just food shortages, man. It's gas shortage too. You ain't know that? I'm trying to tell you. Keep going.
And pestilences.
And pestilence. Read that last line again, I buy.
And there shall be famines and pestilences.
Pestilence. What is pestilence? Disease. Well, y'all thought COVID-19 was done. Oh no, COVID getting ready to make a strong comeback. COVID-19 gonna be like the flu. It ain't going nowhere. Right. The Lord sent this plague for a reason. The scripture says, give me Isaiah 47 and verse 3. Baba for sure. Let me get Isaiah 47 and verse 3. We're gonna come back to Matthew. Let me tell you something about this pestilence. The Lord, you know what I mean, is such an amazing power that he shut down Esau and his economy and his world, with one virus. That's why the oppressors were beside themselves. Y'all didn't hear Donald Trump in the Bible when he was like, we're fighting against the invisible enemy. We're working against the invisible enemy every day. We're growing stronger. We have to figure, we figured this invisible enemy out. Who is the invisible enemy that Donald Trump is talking about? The invisible enemy that Donald Trump was talking about is the God of niggas, right. The God of Latinos, the God of the Native American Indians. Alawapanya, Barak, Yahalabah,
Cover it up. Get it on, Akim, Akwafian. I'll take your questions in the room and online. You can set us up with the TikTok too. Whenever you're ready. If you need my phone, let me know. What do I have tonight? 9/11. We'll go into 9/11. So you can be ready for that. That's, I think, 20 some odd years of 9/11 remembrances. You should just be ready every year to break down this topic on 9/11, all right? Questions, let's have them in the room or online. Sister.
So I just wanted to know, if everything's done in the spirit, then why are we allowed to eat in establishments that serve pork?
If everything is done in the spirit, what does that term mean?
Everything's done in the way that Christ the Lord would like us to.
Okay. So, excuse me, stop him a second, you guys, so I can see your mouth. You said if everything is done in the spirit, meaning if everything is done the way the Most High wants us to,
Yeah.
then why are we what?
Why are we eating in like restaurants? When there's restaurants out here that don't serve pork products, why are we eating in restaurants? Or why are we allowed to eat in restaurants?
Give me a type of restaurant that would obvious one that you think we should eat in. Which would be one?
I'm not sure, but I know there's like a lot of halal restaurants out here.
Halal restaurants? Would that be lawful?
Not all of it, no.
Okay, so then what is your question?
So why are we allowed to, like, why are we doing it? Why are we eating in restaurants?
As opposed to eating where?
Home. Or,
Eating home cooking.
yeah.
So meaning, okay, since if you go to a restaurant and there'll be things in that restaurant that are unlawful, correct?
Correct.
Why are we, when you say we, you mean the Israelite school of UPK?
Yeah.
Why do brothers and sisters in the UPK eat at restaurants as opposed to simply eating at home?
Correct.
Because at home is where you could guarantee that the food you would eat would be lawful. Would that be your question? Give her a hand. I understand. Go ahead, Can I have a napkin, please, brother? Go ahead, Here's your answer right here, sis. All right. Go ahead. Say your name again. Say your name again. Mathamyad. Go ahead.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10. I'm going to start at verse 23, sir.
Mm-hmm.
All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient.
Okay, that's a precept proving that we don't break the law, even though we might do things that are not perfectly suited to our goal, right? But that's not that topic. Go ahead. Oh, you have more. I'm sorry. Please, go ahead. Go ahead, get right to it.
Verse 25, whatsoever is sold in the shambles that eat, asking no question.
That's your precept. That's your precept right there. Read it one more time.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 25.
Read 24.
1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 24. Let no man seek his own, but every man another's wealth.
This is in 1 Corinthians, sister, all right? Now, when you read the New Testament, the Old Testament tells you what to do if someone breaks the law. And the Old Testament also has wonderful stories about the people that kept the law and about their fight to maintain the law in an evil world. The New Testament tells us how to keep the law in an evil place. Because by the time of the New Testament, we were cast off of our language, cast away from our heritage, cast away from our land. And now, like the time of Jesus Christ, we were living in the Roman Empire, living among heathens, living in their society. And we struggled to keep the law in those societies. As you and I know well, because here we are in America, trying to not celebrate Christmas, trying to raise up your child in the truth when everything will tell her to not be in the truth, trying to leave the world ourselves. We're here in hell. And so Christ teaches us how to keep the law here in hell. And this is one of the things you have to learn. Read it again.
Book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 24. Let no man seek his own, but every man another's wealth.
The first thing you'll have to do is not be selfish. That's the first thing. That's step one. That's good government. That's the mystery of being governed in this hell. Government is supposed to fight human nature. That's why you need leaders. If not for that, you wouldn't need leaders. You need leaders because of human nature. Human nature would just make the strong devour the weak, make the rich devour the poor, right? If you're going to live here in hell, you're going to need to not be selfish. You're going to have to not seek your own gain, but seek the gain of someone else. Continue.
Verse 25. Whatsoever is sold in the shambles.
Alexa, what are shambles?
Shambles is a form of the word shamble. As a noun, shamble is usually defined as a slaughterhouse. For more, ask me.
That's good enough for Alexa. It's a place, Alexa, stop. It's a place where people buy food, like a butcher. Alexa, stop. Like a butcher shop or a store, right? The disciples of Christ were out traveling in hell, trying to teach in hell, living in a terrible place. While you're there, whatsoever they buy in that, whatever they sell in that shop, you buy that stuff in that shop. As you're in this land, you don't have to only eat from home. Can you imagine if we could only eat from our house? What would that automatically do? Let's say that happened. Let's say all the food you ate was strictly the food that you cooked in your home. How would that change your life? You
change your social skills.
explain that.
You're not out
You're not out with who?
out in the world.
Who's out there?
People.
People. That's what it would do. We couldn't be together. You understand? You and I wouldn't know each other. You and her would know each other. He and I would know each other. Right? We're here in hell and we have to be with each other. We have to go out we got to go travel to Camden, New Jersey. You got to go travel to it. I'm wondering why we don't have a camp in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So I could be in that camp every day. So I could be in Atlantic City gambling all night in that camp all day. That's only my preference. Go ahead.
If I may, sir, always got 5,000 to ride. The camp leader not the second.
Give him a hand then. That's right. Let me tell you something. Make some excellent videotapes and get subscribers from going out in Atlantic City. Well, we can't go to Atlantic City if we stay home in our little, Shabbat Shalom Sabbath services. We cook our own food and sit in the house all Sabbath and make sure that we're never around sinners. You're going to have to go around sinners. You're going to have to go down to that shop, find something that's clean in there. Go in there and find something that you can eat. Can you eat in a halal shop? Hell yeah. Now, most cities are not Philadelphia with about 1 billion Muslims. So in Philly, you have halal shops. In Detroit, you have halal shops. In Atlanta, not so much. In Mississippi, and not so many down there. In California, no, you don't have halal shops. But here in Philly, you can absolutely go to a halal shop if you can stand the flies. I went in there and got a goat leg about 3 weeks ago. Brother, I had to run out of there. I took every vaccination I could find online. I took a vaccination for the bubonic plague, for diphtheria, whatever they had after I left that place. But I wanted to find, some lamb and goat, and where else could I go to get it? I went into that little, it was an East Indian place, right around here. Who was flies and bugs and roaches on everything. I'm not exaggerating. You understand? Now, can you go in there and shop? Absolutely, you can. If you can find something clean and good, get it. Can you go to McDonald's? It's no different than the halal shop. What's the difference between McDonald's and a halal shop? Nothing. All of it run by a bunch of sinners and heathens. Go in there and find something clean in there. Go in any place you're in, find something clean. Stay around your people and survive this. And let's stay together so we can leave this place. That's one precept, and I'll give you 3 more if you need it, but this is absolutely one. Read it from the whatsoever thou find in the shambles, and then finish it out.
Sir. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 25. Whatsoever is sold in the shambles that eat, asking no question for conscience sake.
Asking no questions. So you in there like, God damn, what is this person? What religion are you? Do you do this? Or do you believe in the commandments of the Most? Don't ask him nothing. Because your conscience will destroy you because you're here eating with this piece of garbage, this East Indian, this Muslim, this Christian. So you're gonna get in there and you're going to buy your food and leave the hell up out of there. And that's that. Everyone, do you understand, sister, or not? All right, good to go. Next. But the sister is right about one thing. Everything that the Israelite School of UPK does is in the spirit. Every last thing we do. There is nothing that is done in here that is not sanctioned by the Most High God, and we can prove it for anyone that says it's not. Which is why we go out on the internet and battle everyone and go on every website and go everywhere on the World Wide Web to find people that might say we're wrong about anything. Everybody understands. Come on.
If I make sure it was so heavy about what you bring it out. That's what the I.S.U.P.K do. Like Nasty Nate, you know what I mean? Get everybody together in an auditorium while he go out and live his homosexual life. While they sitting there eating cold sandwiches. That's a lot.
Some brother sent me some video of Nasty Nate talking about how much masturbation cleared his mind. I could not believe I saw it. Oh, it's in my phone. Brother, the officer Bob just sent it to me in New York. He said, it's a release. Masturbation is a release. I felt sorry for his poor African wife. All right, next. Up front. Let me get the brother right here. Go ahead.
Sir. May I have a breakdown of Matthew chapter 5, verse 22?
Mm-hmm.
This is the book of Matthew chapter 5, verse 22. But I say unto you, that whosoever is angry with his brother without cause shall be in danger of the judgment.
You want me just to break it down or something? Let's step above it one verse.
Verse 21. Ye
What
have
about the
heard.
TikTok? Are we down?
I'll get it together.
I can do it for you. Go ahead.
Verse 21. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not kill.
Them of old time is talking about, you got to stand for me? You want to do yours or mine?
I got to stand.
You want to do mine or yours? When the Bible says them of old time, what is it talking about? Let me do my Spaniel real fast.
Oh, cut it.
When the Bible says them of old time, what is it talking about? Who knows? You got it up? Go ahead. Speaking about the Old Testament, right? That's what it means. When Christ says it was said of old time, remember Christ he is acting in his service to the Most High during the time of the writing of the New Testament. So when he teaches, he's referring to the Old Testament because it was written hundreds of years before him. Everybody gets that, right? Go ahead.
And whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment.
So in the Old Testament, the Bible says, the law says, please go ahead. The Bible says what? Read that part again.
And whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment.
That's the what commandment? The 7th or the 6th commandment? Thou shalt not. Come on. The 13th. That's not the 3rd. Go ahead. Which commandment is thou shalt not murder? The 6th or 7th commandment. One of those, right? Thou shalt not murder is the 6th or 7th commandment. And also the Bible describes the penalty for murdering. If you murder someone, you're going to get killed yourself. You're going to die, right? That's in the Old Testament. If you kill someone, you get killed. If you kill someone, I'll take it upstairs, warrior. You're going to the council to have to answer for why you took that person's life. If you're found guilty of murder, you're getting put to death. That's in the Old Testament. The Old Testament does not allow you to kill someone unlawfully. Continue.
Verse 22. But.
Say it again.
Verse 22.
Yeah, just say but again. That's all.
But.
Keep going.
I say unto you.
This is what Christ is saying to you. Keep going.
That whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment.
Let me tell you, Christians always think that Jesus Christ did away with the law. Christ is saying he increased the law. He increased it. The Old Testament says you're going to counsel if you murder someone. You're going to be punished and judged if you murder someone. The New Testament says if you are angry with someone without cause, you're going to a council. You're going to be punished. Don't you see what an increase of our responsibility Christ has just given us? Before Christ, I had to just make sure that I didn't kill you when you made me angry. Now, I am not allowed to be angry with you unless I have a righteous reason. That's an increase of the law. Does everyone understand? Now, think about how that would change things in your life. Think about that. And think about what leads to what. There's some brother right now from Brazil on the run out here in Pennsylvania. Ooh, he getting away from the white man out there. Bro. No, I'm not going to give him a hand because he murdered some woman in front of a child. But he is getting away. He is on the run and making a good run of it away from these oppressors. And I understand what that's like. He's on the run. Well, he's on the run because of a domestic violence issue. Because he gets into a big fight with his woman and he kills that woman and is convicted of that murder. And now he's on the run. And the whole world is looking at him now because he's on the run in Pennsylvania. But what most people aren't thinking about is how close that is to being you. That's you. And you sisters, how close is that to either you killing your husband when you go get his gun and pull his gun on him because he had another woman, or you want to go stab him because he had another woman? That's almost you. So many of us are this close to being in jail for domestic violence murder. Many of your parents were the first persons you ever saw really commit an act of violence. Many of you, when your mother and father fought each other, that was the first violence that you ever saw before your brain could even really understand what you were seeing. You're seeing your mother beat your father or your father beat your mother. And now, here you are, a grown man, and you are very close to being that brother that's on the run. You're one drunken night of hate from going to jail for some murder that later on you're going to be the main one crying about it. The main one missing the person who's dead. The main one regretting it. The main one thinking about her at night and how much you loved her or how much you loved him. I've counseled women who murdered some husband that they were so angry about, and you should hear them cry about how much they loved that man, about how he was the greatest man ever. They have a child with him and they loved him so much. But in that moment, they were angry. And that anger leads to murder. You see what Christ did for us in the New Testament? The Old Testament just said, if you kill someone, you're dying. The New Testament is teaching you how not to kill someone. Killing someone starts with unrequited, unjustified anger. When anger is unjustified. If you're mad at your husband for having another woman, that is unjustified anger. You have no reason to be angry at him. Many of you brothers are lunatics, and you're mad at your woman because you think she's a whore and she's not. You're, one of those psycho, super jealous. You've met brothers like that. Some old psychopath, jealous brother. You want to kill your wife, kill a brother, kill any man that's around her because you think it's something wrong with her. It's something wrong with you, Al. You got a woman problem. It probably comes from your mom. Your mom was probably half a whore or a full-blown whore. And now if your woman, goes outside the house, your woman can't even get a job because she has to stay home because you so don't trust her. But you love her and you can't let her go, although you think she's a slut and a whore. But you can't ever leave her, even though you think she's a slut and a whore. So you just keep her in the house or chain her to the goddamn radiator or do God knows what that I've heard about. Because you're a psychopath and you are angry with her for nothing. She hasn't done anything at all. Well, that unjustified anger leads to an unjustified action, which is murder. Does everyone understand? Christ increased it with that. Do you need more? Go ahead.
And whosoever shall say to his brother, Rakah, shall be in danger of the council.
Rakah means evil. So it's like calling you evil. So you call another brother evil, and that is unjustified, you're going to council, just like in the past when you would go to council over a murder. Council is like going to court, for those of you that don't understand. It's the Israelite version of court. So you're going to trial. In the past, if you murder someone, in the present day, Thawada, you're going to trial if you say that brother's evil and you had no reason to say it. You're going to trial over that. Why? Because that is the seed of violence. That's where it starts, right there. In the Israelite school of UPK, just like the sister said, everything we do in here is in the spirit. And you're not allowed to call another brother evil without justification. If anyone finds out you did that, you're going to council. That's it. You're going to end up in council, and you're going to risk your cover or your rank or your membership in this holy place because you said he's evil. You can't be in there and do that now. You better have a goddamn good reason for saying something about another brother in the school. You better have a good reason to do it. That's what this precept is about. You understand? How do you know if you have a good reason? The council is how you know. Don't just do it on your own. Yeah, you don't know anything or anything. You know damn near enough to survive day to day without going to jail for domestic violence. Everybody gets the point? A little dark for some reason. Was there anything else up? Go ahead up.
But whosoever shall say, thou
You
fool,
raise it up, put it on a book or something.
shall be in danger of the hellfire.
Whoever shall say what?
But whosoever shall say, thou fool,
Whosoever shall say, thou fool. Once again, you go to a brother and you say, you're a fool. You go to some sister and say, she's a this, she's a that. If you talk about a sister in the school, you better have a good reason for saying something about her. You better be careful. You're a fool. All right. Okay. Now you're going to be in council. Produce your cause. You said she was a fool. You talked about her on Facebook. So many of you think that Facebook is a free place. Facebook is free if you're not in the UPK. Instagram is free. Give me some other, all your grams. Twitter, X, whatever the thing is. Those are free unless you're in here. Then none of that is free. In here, you are charged for what you say. You're chargeable for it. Why? Because those words are the start of crime, the beginning of violence. What did Christ say? Whatsoever thou shalt say, every idle word that men shall say, they shall give account before my Father which is in heaven. You're going to answer to the Most High for every little thing that came out of your mouth that you thought meant nothing. That's a precept for this. So it's like calling a brother a fool. You're going to pay for that. You're going to counsel over that. You're going to trial over that. Keep going.
God shall be in danger of hellfire.
You know what that means, hellfire. Curses and punishments and judgment. In prison is where you get hellfire at. Right? In the back of some police car with those cuffs so tight, you don't know what the hell you're going to do about it. Or sitting in some box starving to death and roaches crawling all over you. Or being sick and dying in the hospital of COVID-19 virus, or of cancer, or of AIDS, right? Hellfire is when the Most High punishes you, and the Bible calls it fire because it's hot, because it's intense. And these curses you get right here, right here. Anything else? No problem. Next. Anything online?
A few questions. Yeah, the first one is Brother says, can you break down Matthew 22 and verses 1 through 5?
No problem. Someone get it for him.
And 1 through 5. I appreciate you.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 1. And Yahushua answered and spake unto them again, saying by parables and said, verse 2, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son.
So this is a parable, which means it's a lesson, but it's teaching you in metaphor. So everything in this metaphor is not literal, it represents something else. So the first part is the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven, anywhere you read it in the Bible, is either talking about the men who will rule when Jesus Christ returns, or the spirit or personality in those men. Everybody gets that? All right, so just remember that as we're breaking this down. So the kingdom of heaven is like, read.
A certain king, which made a marriage for his son.
So imagine a king. He has a big wedding because his son is getting married. So he's having a big wedding feast. Go ahead.
Verse 3, and sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come. So now remember, this is a king. So you can imagine the kind of people he's inviting to his son's wedding. Rich people, dignitaries, ambassadors, princes and kings of their own. He's inviting them to his son's wedding. Keep going. Verse 4, again, he sent forth other servants, saying, tell them which are bidden, behold, I have prepared my dinner, my oxen and my fatlings are killed.
So now remember, he sent the people to invite them to the wedding. Then he sent them again, telling them, listen, I killed the oxes. I got the wine. I got the food. Everything is ready. Come to my son's wedding. I've prepared everything for you. Keep going.
And all things are ready. come unto the marriage. Verse 5. But they made light of it.
But what?
They made light of it.
Oh, but these people, they thought it was nothing. They didn't think it was a big deal. They didn't want to come. The king invited them, and it was a glorious feast, but they were too busy to come. They thought the king's dinner, the king's son's wedding was a light thing, was a small thing that they could miss. Continue.
And went their ways, one to his farm, another to his merchandise.
You hear that? One went to his farm, another to his business. You see, these were rich men. These were rich men. These rich men had, their lives were too full of gain and money to be worried about coming to this king's wedding. This is how rich men are. Right now, Steve Harvey is on every channel crying about his marriage, crying about his life. Oh my God, poor Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey said, "When my wife was with me, I was $22 million I owed to the government, and she stayed with me." And he's on there crying about that because he owed someone $22 million. He owed the government $22 million. And my wife was with me through this, and my wife was with me through that. So, of course, he has to stay with her because, she had sex with everybody that stood next to her. Everyone. Let me tell you something about rich people. Nothing that happens to them matters. Nothing. Their problems are problems you wish you could have. You wish you could owe the government $22 million. That would, if you could go to owe the government $22 million, that would be the greatest thing that ever happened to you. To owe the government, you would have a party with a banner that says, "I owe the government $22 million. That's how much better their life is than yours, which is the point of this parable. You see, they're too busy. Their lives are too important to come when they are called. Do you understand? Oh, their lives are too important for that. When they're called, they don't answer because of their business and their farms and their wealth. They don't answer the call. I pray you understand. Continue.
Verse 6. And the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully.
And the remnant, the people that were left, the people were too busy. The rest of the people treated his servants cruelly. Meaning, so even the fact that they were invited to the wedding, they abused the people that invited them. That's how evil they were, and that's how light they thought it was to be called to that supper. To where even to be invited, they thought it was an insult. And they treated the people that invited them to the supper with cruelty. Continue.
And slew them.
And did what?
Slew them.
If you wonder why it's so difficult to be in the Israelite school of UPK, it's this. It's because people hate us, not because we're doing the things that the Christians do. You think everyone would love us and hate the Christians because they're molesting your children. The Christians are doing that. They're the ones they're abusing your children. But no one questions the Catholic Church about their doctrine. They believe in the Catholic Church's doctrine, even though they are abusing children like an epidemic. No one has a problem with it. The halal people, the mosque, we're on 9/11. Really, no one should eat at a halal restaurant. Why, sister? They did kill about 3,000 people today, right? But of course, no one shuts down the halal restaurants. No one says they're a cult. Have you ever heard the halal restaurant being called a place for cult people went? Have you ever heard the Israelite School of UPK be called a cult? Huh? Every day. Every day. We didn't kill anybody on 9/11. Right. We didn't do that. But the Muslims, they're fine. We're the cult. You died.
The COVID started in Wuhan, China, and Chinatown. Wow.
Chinatown is perfect, and you better stop hating them Asians too. You better leave that alone. But the UPK, we're terrible people. The IUIC murdered a woman, a girl, a little child, murdered her, unalived her. But of course, they believe in having one wife, so they're purple and wonderful. Purple is a nice color. And so they're fine. But the UPK, we're gangsters and thugs. I got to be called a thug every day in my inbox. Every day, I'm a gangster and a thug every day. I didn't murder some little girl. I didn't murder Joy Morgan. I didn't do that. I didn't unalive Joy Morgan. The water you died. Salakia. They now URC. They the one unalived her. Why? People hate us not because of our actions. They hate us because we are calling them to the dinner. We're calling them in and they don't want to be called. They want to focus on their money, their life, and their pleasure. And we are on the internet calling them to a dinner that they don't want to come to. And that's why they unalive the prophets. Continue.
Verse 7. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth.
Oh, but when the king heard about it, when the king heard that they unalived his messengers, and they scoffed at his dinner like it was nothing, and they were too busy to come. Oh, he was angry, brother. He was very angry. That's what wrath means, angry. Continue.
And he sent forth his armies and destroyed those murderers.
Ooh, he sent forth his armies. That's the day that all of us are praying and working towards in the Israelite school of UPK. The day that the armies of God come for justice. Judgment Day is what they call it in the Bible. Judgment Day. That's when our king comes and pays everybody back for what they thought they could do without punishment. Continue.
And burn up their city.
You get that? I think that brings it home to you more. And burns up their city. That's Judgment Day. Continue.
Verse 8. Then said he to his servants, the wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy. After
the king burns the cities up of the people who unalived his prophets and didn't want to come to his dinner, then he turns to his servants and he says, servants, the dinner is ready. Now it's time for you to come and feast. Read that part again.
The wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy.
You see, servants, I invited people to this dinner, but they didn't want to come. They weren't worthy to come. Who wasn't worthy to come to this dinner? All of the preachers of the past that blacks and Latinos put their trust in. The people that knew about the Bible when we weren't thinking about reading the Bible. Martin Luther King and his family were reading the Bible when we weren't alive or not thinking about the Bible. We were thinking about getting high. We were in the streets. We were in prison. We were shooting people or in dice games. And they had the Bible. And they had the ear of the congregation. Everyone listened to these preachers. Everyone listened to these reverends and imams. Everyone. All the people would have done anything that they told them to do. How do I know it? Because they voted for whoever that preacher told them to vote for. So they would have done anything that the preacher told them to do. But the preacher cared about his money, his farm, and his merchandise. So guess what? I tried to invite them, but your preachers weren't worthy. Your Catholic priests weren't worthy. Your grandmoms and your granddaddies and all of the people in the Democratic Party and the senators and the National Black Caucus and your Hispanic royalty, they were not worthy to come. So, read.
Verse 9. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall
go find. Ye into the what?
Highways.
Go ye into the what?
Highway.
What's a highway called today? Who knows? This is an old biblical term. It's highway because of high traffic, because there are a lot of people there. This is before the I-95, right? This is 2,000 years ago. A highway is where it was high traffic. A lot of people crossed and came to this place. The highway today would be the streets. The streets. So when the rich and the powerful didn't want to come to the dinner, who did the Most High God send his servants to go get? Go into the streets. And he found me in prison or in a dice game or in some crack house. He found you in a whorehouse or got a strip club. He found us in the street, not in Faith Ebenezer Baptist Tabernacle of the Everlasting Faith. That ain't where he found us at. That's where you found Nasty Nate at, but he did not find us in there. He found us in a dice game on the corner in jail. Go ahead, Al.
What you're saying, Joe, is so heavy because the precept I'm thinking about is when Christ came into his own and his own received him not. Christians love to think, oh, he went into the Jews. That's not true. He went, to the politicians, the priests, and they didn't receive him. And Christ went out and got and had to raise up 12 regular brothers who had regular slaveries. You know what I mean?
Fishermen. Fishermen who would never be allowed in those circles. It's hard maybe for you to understand it now, but a fisherman is like, a cat working in a rice field, and now he's supposed to be in charge of the nation. Never. The people that were in charge of Israel were the people whose grandfathers were in charge of Israel. The people who could trace their bloodline back to the damn Maccabean Empire. That's who was in charge of Israel. Not a fisherman whose fathers smelled like fish every day. And his clothes were full of fish scales and blood and guts. He didn't get to rule Israel. That's not how it worked. There was no democracy back then. The people in charge were the people who had been in charge for about 600 years. That's how it worked. And Christ came and put, fishermen, all types of cats just from the streets and gave them secrets that rich men could never have. Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shah. Because if not for that, we'd have to all depend on honorable Dr. Reverends and all of them to give us the truth. Oh, they've been raised in the knowledge of God. Yeah, that's it. It warms my heart. This happens. I've never said this publicly, but I'm still not going to say it. I'm not going to say it because it's going to encourage less than expedient behavior. All right, so let's move on. Go ahead. I'm fine for now. Go ahead.
And as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage.
And as many as you shall find, bid to the marriage. I mean, invite them. Go into the streets and whoever you find, invite them. And that's why we go out on right now and get subscribers. Put that name up on, put subscribers up on that wall right there. That's what you're going to go out and do. You're going to go out and find subscribers. That's fishing, young man. Fishing is fishing on the internet, or you're not fishing at all. Does everyone understand? That's what we're going to do. We're going to go out and just find whoever will listen. Done. We go out there and just tell everyone, I don't care who your father was, if he was rich or poor. I don't care if he was bond or free. He's an Israelite, you coming in. You can get in here. I don't care if your mother was a hoe and your father was a pimp. You can come in here. If you're an Israelite, you can come in. That's far different than the first invitation. The first invitation wasn't like that. It was to the aristocrats of Levi and the descendants of Aaron and the descendants of this person. Not this time. They didn't want to come. And now it's our turn. I pray you understand. Anything else? That was your question, correct? Oh, I thought it was yours. So lucky. Was that it, Yedaya? Next question.
Brother wanted a general breakdown of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 25, and verses 7 through 8.
Go ahead.
Ecclesiasticus 25, 7 and 8.
Whenever you're ready, let's try to pick up the speed of taste, all right?
Go ahead. Ecclesiasticus, chapter 25, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy. Mm-hmm. And the 10th I will utter with my tongue. Mm-hmm. A man that hath joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy.
Read that one more time. You said there be 9 things in my heart I find heavy. The 10th one I will utter with my tongue. What'd you say after that?
And the 10th, and a man that hath joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy.
I'm missing something you're saying. Yeah, go ahead. Where you at again?
This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 25, verse 7. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy.
Okay, let me catch up. I'm missing some word you said. 25 and what?
7, sir.
Stand by. Ecclesiasticus and Apocrypha, right? 25 and verse 7. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead, read it.
Khan. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy.
To be happy, meaning there are nine things which I have judged in my heart to be happy. These are happy things, good things. Keep going.
Khan. And the 10th I will utter with my tongue.
Now he's not going to say what the other 9 things are, but he'll tell you what the 10th thing is. And this 10th thing is one of the things that makes him happy. Keep going.
A man that have joy of his children.
The man that have joy of his children, meaning if you get to have children that truly bring you joy, that's an amazing thing. Because what's the opposite to that? To have a child that brings you great pain. And that's what, sometimes I wonder how anyone ever has a child. Because having a child is such risk to have such sorrow. So where really, if you want to avoid and make sure you don't have sorrow, just don't have a child. Because then that can really help. Otherwise, you might have a child that gets sick and dies, that gets hurt, that you lose. Think about our brothers and sisters who lost their children in slavery and lost their children to the court system, lost their children to crime and to sexual abuse. A child can be the source of terrible pain, but yet a child can be the source of absolute happiness. If your child can grow and be beautiful and strong and handsome and intelligent, then now a child is the greatest thing that ever happened to you. And so this makes a person happy, a person that can have joy of their child. Keep going.
And he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy.
And here's another thing that makes a man very happy. To live and survive to see your enemies fall. That's a beautiful thing. It's glorious. It's like poetry. It's a poetic thing. Can you imagine your enemies thinking about? David said this. David said, Lord, thou preparest a table for me in the sight of my adversary. That is beautiful. It's a beautiful thought. The Lord said, David said, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast rewarded him. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. Salah. Salah means let the choir sing. Let the choir sing. It's beautiful. It's poetry. To be able to live and see your enemies fall is a glorious thing. It's a happy thing, according to the Bible. Keep going.
Verse 8. Well is him that dwelleth with a wife of understanding.
Here's something that's beautiful. It is good. It is well with him. You'll have a good life if you dwell with a woman of understanding. What does that mean? A woman of understanding. Who knows? Well, you better know this if you are getting women. Say your name. Mathamyad. Go ahead. You on to it. You coming around the corner to it. It's virtuous means ability. So you're right there. Go deeper. A woman of understanding. Go ahead. Wow. Give him a hand. Done. A wise woman. Alexa, what is wisdom?
Wisdom, sapience, or sagacity is the
Ooh, that's one of my favorite words. Sapience, satience or sagacity. You got to get a broad with sagacity out. That's what your problem is. You're chasing tail. You need to get a woman with sagacity and wit. That's an old term for just a woman who was just sharp. You get my point? She's sharp. She's witty and clever and wise. That's what you need in a wife. You need a woman that can understand something. And because she can understand, she understands her people, the truth, how to raise a child. She understands the world and what's required of her and why she shouldn't do this and why she should do that. She's wise. She's wise. If you have a wise woman, things will be well with you. You'll be fine because your wife is wise. Your wife has sagacity and wit. Your wife has understanding. Too many times what you look for is a woman who is sexually attractive, and you're going to be in more hell than you really can understand if you're young. You just don't even really get it. I didn't get it when I was your age, when I was young. I didn't understand. And then I did. Does everyone understand? We'll find out. Go ahead.
And that have not slipped with his tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And that have not served.
Stop right. Let me break down slip with your tongue. What does it mean to slip with your tongue? To say something that you shouldn't have said. Now, let me give you a little help with this. When you're in the world, you just don't know what you should say, which is why, for the life of me, it shocks me how hard it is for a lawyer to convince brothers to not talk to the police. Bro, it is like an impossible thing to teach someone to shut your mouth with the cops. Brothers can't do it. And a lawyer is going to just spend all of his time saying what? Don't talk to the cops. Do not talk to the police. What's going to happen? You're going to talk to the police. The minute you get in any trouble, you're going to run and act like he's your therapist. Why? Because you can't shut your mouth. You can't control your mouth. That's going to lead to problems legally. It's going to lead to problems with other brothers, with your friendships, problems in your marriage, because you just can't shut your mouth. A brother who can, he'll have a good time. He'll be fine. Continue.
And that have not served a man more unworthy than himself.
And hath not served a man more unworthy than himself. Let everyone type one in the chat room if they're in Esau, if they were in Esau's military. There must be a lot of brothers out there that went and fought in Iraq, fought in Afghanistan for America, that joined Esau's military. Let me know if there's any brothers out there that have done that, man. If you're a man that has ever fought for the American military, you've received something and knowledge of something that people shouldn't get. You know what it's like to serve someone that is not as worthy as you. There are so many people that died on 9/11 now. So I'll give you one person that died on 9/11. Someone that served someone that was not as great as himself. Give me that brother I sent you today out. You died. It was his brother. He was a Marine, right? He was a Marine, and on 9/11, he just happened to be around the World Trade Center. And when the buildings came down, he just jumped into those buildings and went and found 2 firemen in the buildings. Now, since 9/11, about 345 firemen died on 9/11. About that equal amount of firemen have died from 9/11 related illnesses, just from breathing the smoke that was in the air of that ground zero after 9/11. And they all have received cancer. They all have cancer, and they've been unalived by cancer. Here's a brother right here. When you get his picture, please put him up there, right?
I'm posting it now.
What's his name?
Jason Thomas.
Jason Thomas. If you can get him on the screen, let me know, all right?
I'll put him on right now.
Solid. Jason Thomas was this Marine, jumped out of his car and just went to save lives on 9/11. Fought in the United States military with the Marines, and then went in 9/11. And it was so amazing because he wasn't supposed to do that. He was just a person that was just there. He wasn't a fireman. He wasn't a police officer. He just jumped into action. It's very slow to get in the room, you guys.
No. They see it all live, sir.
Okay, I can't see it. Let me just, so I can know when to start breaking it down. All right. Give him a second. See me one more time. Say it again. Nathumya. Go ahead.
They can break it down. They see it all.
Okay, this brother was a Judite. He was a Judite, jumped into action on 9/11. He was a pivotal hero for 9/11 because he actually just did it because he saw the help was needed for him. That's the brothers right here. Now, later on, they went and made a movie about 9/11 called, what is it called? The Tower? That's the name of it. It was a movie by Oliver Stone. Oliver Stone did a movie about 9/11. What's his brother's name again?
Jason Thomas.
Jason Marine. He's a Marine, Jason Thomas. Right? That's him out there on 9/11. Jason Thomas. Then later, Oliver Stone did a movie about, it's called, what is it called? The Tower? What's the name of the movie? Give me the cast of Oliver Stone's movie right here on the screen. If you could, just let me know when I can start breaking it down. First, you need the name of the movie.
World Trade Center.
World Trade Center. Just show me the cast of the World Trade Center movie. Say again? Just show me the cast. That's all I need. Just put the cast up on the screen if you could. You got it? Is everybody? Let me see the full blah, blah, blah. Let's scroll down. Keep going. Adjust my glasses. The water for the drink. Stop. Scroll over 3. Read that. 1. Scroll over. Scroll over the other way, not down, but over. All right. Right. Over. Stop. Good. That's William McPorter playing who? Read the bottom. Click into it. Who is he playing? There you go. He's playing Marine Sergeant Thomas. That's who's playing him in the movie. They went and cast a white man to play this brother. But of course, you can't ever forget 9/11. You can't ever forget. The only thing you can forget about 9/11 is the contribution of anyone black or Hispanic. That absolutely can be forgotten. And then they cast another black man as a street hustler that didn't even exist in real life. You see, if you fought in the United States military, you served someone, but you're better than the people you served. You're better than the president. You're better than the congressman. You're better than the higher ups in the military. You are someone that's a worthy man. You're honorable. But the people you serve are garbage. They're garbage. The 9/11 is a monument to two things. It's a monument to the greed of our oppressor and a monument to their lust for blood afterwards. 9/11, all of the hijackers were from where? Who knows? Saudi Arabia. They were not from Afghanistan. Isn't that ridiculous, Jedi? Not one of them was from Afghanistan. Every last one of the hijackers was from Saudi Arabia. After 9/11, America went and invaded Iraq. That had nothing to do with 9/11, but they thought they would find bombs there that might be future 9/11s. You know, a new one that's not even around yet. They went there, they found nothing. Killed 3 million people. After that, then they invaded Afghanistan. Why? Because they had to get rid of who? Who knows? You brothers young, you don't know. The Taliban. You don't know who that is, do you? Oh, 9/11, the Afghanistan war was about the Taliban. Because Osama bin Laden was a member of the Taliban. They fought them for 20 years. Who's in charge of Afghanistan right now? Who wants to blow my mind with the answer? The Taliban. They rule Afghanistan right now. How? The United States government is in league with them, made a deal with them, and gave the country to them. So the Taliban are the government in Afghanistan right now. But then finally they found Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, no. In Iraq, no. In Saudi Arabia, no. In Pakistan. And of course, they did not go to war with Pakistan. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. And the fact that anyone fights in the military is insane because you're brave, but the people in charge of the military, Esau's military, are not brave. They just have a lust to kill. And the United States citizen, he doesn't care who they kill. I remember after 9/11, brother, they didn't care who America went to war with. They just needed someone to hurt. They needed someone to bleed. And America just said, we're going to invade Iraq. And nobody cared who they invaded. They just needed someone to hurt. And if you're in our oppressor's military, you are a tool that he uses to hurt people for no reason at all sometimes. just to satisfy their lust for violence. Do you understand? Read that precept one more time. No, start from right at the end.
A man is what? Okay.
The last point.
Have not served a man more unworthy than himself.
If you could be a brother that has never served a man that is more unworthy than you, then you're having a great life. Like I've had that kind of life. I have never served a man that was less worthy than me because I've served Commander General Yohanna since I was in my early 20s, since 1998, and he's a better man than me. So I've been able to benefit from serving someone and being willing to kill and die for someone who's better than me. And so he's never put my life in any danger, although I would have loved him to. He's never asked me to unalive anybody, although I would have wanted him to. But he never did that because he's better than me. But if you're in the United States military, you're being asked to unalive people, and he will not care if you get cancer afterwards. He won't care what happens to you afterwards. I don't know how you went to Afghanistan to fight and then watch America give Afghanistan back to the Taliban. That must have been terrible. That must have felt terrible to have to go, all right, well, you're the new Afghanistan leader. Well, now we're your friends. Now we're giving you all these weapons, and now we're working with you. You shot all my friends, but now I'm working with you. That must have been horrible on you, brothers, man. It must have been terrible to go to Iraq and then realize Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11, but you still don't have any legs or any scrotum. You have no scrotum, no sexual organs at all, and the Iraq war had nothing to do with 9/11. You serve someone that is not the man you are. I would invite you all to come serve Commanding General Yohanna, brother, and serve somebody better than you. Give him a hand. Next. Tell me. 820, yes. Stop it up. All right. What was my topic again? Yeah, let's go into Steve Harvey. What do we have on Steve Harvey? Let's go into that quickly, all right? Let's play Steve Harvey. I have never seen or heard a full episode of Steve Harvey's show, but I wish I listened this week because, Lord, it was riveting. The little bits I saw on my phone were riveting. Now, if anyone knows about it, I'll hear you now because I'm going to try to piece it together. Steve Harvey was married to this woman for all these years. She went and whored on him, I think we're 2 people now. And somehow people didn't know whether it was true, but then his daughter came out and played a secret video of her talking to her stepmom, and it was all true. And then the daughter put the video out. And so Steve Harvey is just on that radio show he has, which I never listened to because it's like Christian crack cocaine, that radio station is. It makes my ears bleed. But he's on there talking about how terrible he is. So I listened to a few clips of it. Let me tell you something. Steve Harvey on this clip is a psychological symposium. You can take this video and piece together so much of the black pathology, so much of the sickness that we have from being in America. You can see it on this little clip. And it's a few of them. I'll take some more and I'll break those down for the next 15 minutes before I got to go upstairs. Go ahead and play.
Just lied about my girl. We're talking about she was in my other marriage and ruined it. She did. My marriage, I got divorced in 2005. But in 2005, let me help you to something.
Skip down. This is what
I had nothing.
I'll take that. Go ahead.
I lost the radio show we were on in LA on March 23rd, and I lost the only TV show I had May 23rd, I lost the radio show, and May 10th, I lost the TV show. Steve Harvey had no money. Out with Marjorie again, New Year's Eve, met her, talked to her. She was with her kids in Hawaii. We got together in 2006. We had nothing. When I asked her to marry me at the end of 2006, and then she said she wanted to get married in 2007, I sold it too soon. I got to get some stuff together. We got married in 2007. Do you know what I was doing in 2007? Nothing. We had four stations in 2005. 4. We built this. All of us built this. We had 4 stations. We turned this into something. But that woman got down in that foxhole with me and turned this into something. In 2007, we got married. In 2008, we found out that somebody had stolen 7 years of my tax returns. I ain't gonna mention no name. And we owed the government $22 million.
Pause. What did he say this entire time? We had nothing. We didn't have anything. What did Steve Harvey have? Nothing. Then we found out I owed the government 22. Do you know what that? Guess what he definitely had all those years? Blow my mind. How much? Not at least 22. If he owed the government $22 million, who knows what that means? Who knows anything about taxes? Young brother. What's the highest tax bracket?
30%.
That's the highest one. So if he owed the government 22, how much can you guarantee he had? That's what he had. That's what he had. That's if you go to the extreme, if you live in California, it's 45%, 50%. That's in California. But that ain't in New York, and it damn sure ain't wherever he lives at down south. They don't have the California's tax bracket in the south. So down there, what are you talking? Atlanta, Houston, 30%. In California, it would be 50%. In California, he would have at least $44 million because he didn't give the government its half. So for all of those years that his wife suffered with him and was with him from the bottom when he only had 4 radio stations, that broad was able to be with him while he had $44 million at least. If he was from the South, he would have had to have $100 million if he was from the South. She was with him when they made it from the bottom. Is this who you listen to? You hear him cry about his life? How can he counsel you about your marriage? He thinks he has nothing if he has $100 million. In his mind, he's poor. And my little poor wife, she in here with me. All we had is $100 million. We made it from the bottom. You die. The pool boy had $27 out in his pocket. But he had something else in that pocket. Reading on. Moving on. He had no money in that front pocket, but something else was in there. Let's go to the video. Keep playing.
We in debt. But then guess what? She stayed with me in that. Then guess what? In 2009, I got Family Feud. In 2009, the book came out. In 2012, the talk show came out. I'm telling you, this woman got in the hole and built this with me. She didn't steal nothing. And I'm tired of y'all talking about my girl. Because my girl is one of the best women I've ever met. And why you black ass like you just gonna do?
Stop right there. Stop right there. Now I want you to rewind. I'm trying to help you understand your people. He's angry now. He's getting mad. Why did it go here? I want to understand this part. Rewind just a taste.
Why you black ass like you just?
Why you what? Read that again. Play that again.
Best women I've ever met. And why you black ass like you just gonna destroy somebody?
What race is Steve Harvey? Steve Harvey is black. What is that in the black sickness that we have from America? How do you get racist against black people when you're black? That, for the life of me, the IUIC does the same thing. The IUIC called some brother a spick. I have it on video. They said, "You spick, you niggas." They call us. The IUIC calls the I.S.U.P.K a N-word camp. We're just a bunch of N-words. And I watched them. What are they? I don't understand. Steve Harvey, when you say you black ass, aren't you black? That is comfortable to all of us because we hear it. But do you understand how sick? Let me give you an example. I know Many things I say, I don't know one knows what the hell I'm talking about, right? I'm going to try to break this down to you, although I know no one understands what I'm saying. Give me something, a basketball player. How about that? Imagine, sister. Say again? Yes. Okay. How tall is he? Roundabout. 6'5". Now imagine you're a basketball player. You're Tristan Thompson, and you get in an argument on the basketball court. And you go, you tall mother effer. You ain't nothing but an old jump shooting son of a bitch. You old tall foul shooting jump rebounding mother effer. Now, would that, if Tristan Thompson was in an argument with, give me another basketball player, sister. Jordan. If he was in an argument with Jordan, would you think it was strange if he said, Jordan, you old tall son of a bitch? Would you think that was odd for Tristan Thompson to say that? You wouldn't. Okay. No, I would consider it strange. Okay. Because, how about, let me give you another one. Since that's hard. What if we were little people? They used to be called midgets. Now imagine all of us in here are little people. And when I get mad, you old short mother effer, you old midget ass midget short mother effer, would you consider that strange for one midget to call another one short? You would consider that strange. Okay, why do black people, when they get angry, call other black people black ass, blackity black? Why do they do that? Who wants to break that? Make me understand it, because, okay, I don't understand that. You old black ass people out there, you black bastards. Why do we do that? Because Steve Harvey is clearly black, right? So how could it insult me for you to call me black when we're both black? Listen, we all do it in the world, but it's something we should study. We should study, because guess what? In our minds, it is an insult. It's insult. Get out of here, nigga. What you gonna do about it, N-word? And so, you see that? And so, how could that be an insult, though? When we're both that thing. We're both short. We're both tall. We're both black. Who wants to break? Someone should study that. I've always quite old down, Judge Anderson. We clipped on this one. It's a lot here. My apologies. Blame that on Steve Harvey and I.S.U.P.K. Everybody understands. I tried the best I could. My apologies with that. Next time, remind me to go on mine. So look, everybody give me a die a hand. I'm ruining everything. Jesus Christ. Ruining the entire internet. See that, subscribers? We better get that thing together. Everybody understands. The point is, you can't think it's an insult to call somebody black if you're black. The fact that Steve Harvey does that means that we are racist against black people. You understand? That's what that means. We talk to each other as if we're white. Is that what you want to say? What do you want to say, sis? You had your hand up.
Most people would consider it like ghetto, like you're more ghetto than me.
Okay, but you heard he said you black ass. You heard him say that. And of course, his ass is black, which is the problem and the psychosis with the whole thing. Steve, this whole thing you should watch and study. Let me tell you something else. This is the only one we have. I'm going to find about 5 of these for Thursday. All of these are informative on the sickness that we all get from being here in America. There's another one that he does too, which I'll find for upstairs or Thursday. When he begins to talk about, he begins to say, he has a radio hostess on there with him. And he begins to talk about her. I'm going up. And he acts like a woman when he begins to talk, which so many brothers from church do for no reason. Like he said this, he said, I can't go to her and say, girl, honey child, why you acting like that? You ever see brothers do that? It's like if they've been to the church, they go to talk about something. Okay, they go to talk about something in church. Like it's like if I was in church on Sunday, I'd be listening to music and I'd be like, girl, honey child, that music is real hot. And I'm like, why did he switch and act like a woman right there? Like, why not be a man that goes to church? But if somebody is talking about church, if this is any preacher you've ever heard talk, some of the congregation, they be in here on Sunday saying, child, honey girl, the music is good. And I go, damn, why did you do that? I want to understand why you did that. Like, why, if you go to talk about church or people in church, you talk like a woman. All Christian men do it. If they just bring up church, we was in there on church on Sunday, and I was sitting there and I said, child, honey girl, honey girl, who we? And there's no reason to do that because men go to church and you don't talk like that. So why do you make your voice sound like that when you talk about church? That's on this video. That's on this. You're going to see this all the time in your life. What is that telling you? What is that educating you on? The demon in church is the demon of a woman. That's the demon in church. If you talk about church, if you bring up church people, you are going to say it from a woman's voice. You're going to do it. Give me a day. I'll give you 10 clips of it. You have seen it or seen somebody do it. That's how people, when they talk about church, they're going to talk like a woman, even if they're a man. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, sir, if you just search on TikTok or Instagram, and these new comedian TikTok people, when they want to be funny and they want to talk about church, they always got to put the wig on. Like
every time. Like, okay, if they talk about church, they're going to do it from a woman. They're going to say, yeah, you know, the church be crowded in church. People in there, they be, who Jesus? Who Lord? Who Jesus? God, oh Lord, oh Jesus, oh honey mercy. The demon in church is feminine. And you can just, if you just open your eyes to it, you'll see it. You can see that black people are racist against black people. If you just look up, you'll see it. What else can you see with the Steve Harvey situation? Steve Harvey is loyal to his wife, even if she has sex with another man, because she's always with him and he can never leave her, because Steve Harvey's wife is actually his mother. It's another sickness in the black and Hispanic community. Many of you, because of trauma as a child, especially if your father was not in your life, or if your father hurt your mother, then you will grow up with this thing of your woman, of your wife, of your mother being the idealized version of a wife. And she's your wife, and you can never leave your mama. Your mama's cries, and your mama is hurting. And your mama is this, and you can never leave her. And your wife will become your mom. And so even though your wife will go whore on you with the security guard, the chef, the pool boy, and the driver, the Amazon delivery man, would you ever leave your mother? You stick by your mother's side no matter what. Steve Harvey has replaced his wife with his mom. What should Steve Harvey do? Leave her. He should leave that slut. She's a whore and a slut. And if he stays with her, he's a cuckold. That's all he is. And other men have sex with his wife. And before you know it, it'll be a line of brothers trying to fix everything in that house. It'll be so many brothers coming up to that door to be repairmen. It'll be a traffic jam getting in that goddamn house. If you go repair something at Steve Harvey's house, he's going to pay you for the service, and you get to have sex with his wife. Brother, listen, I'm about to put an application in my damn self to go up there. Yeah, I'm going to tell you. Exactly. I can fix something around there. I ain't much of a handyman, but I do something. Something around the house I can do. Do you want that to be you? We're constant repairmen. You're paying them and they're having sex with your wife. Leave her. She's not your mom. She's not your mother. I know your mother was hurt by your father. I know she was alone. I know you were the only man in her life. But you cannot make random women your mother, because then it clouds your judgment. All right. I know you don't know what in the hell I'm talking about. Now I'm going to leave out of here now and try it again next week. With that, my thumb yard, pass the class over to Officer Mathumyard.
announcements. We go to I.S.U.P.K. Start out on West 125th Street, Hall, New York. Who for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8. Means 10th in Hebrew. I.S.U.P.K. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for a priest, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. And if any brothers, if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, I'm going to first off, Majim, which means to stand. We're going to give one courtesy salute. Man of Israel, Imam Shabbat, I.S.U.P.K, Barak. Now to the top, Zar, which means to turn. My sisters, like mine, which means to stand. You're going to have your feet at a 45-degree angle with your hands like myself. Head covered. All right. Hakim, you're going to give the sisters a courtesy salute. Man of Israel, Imam Shabbat, I.S.U.P.K, Barak. Now to the top, Pastor Smith.